Old boy. Okay. And so been moving with that on a day at a time basis ever since. And that seems to be working for this one day, I'll tell you. I have a sponsor, great and wonderful brother up the road in our county seat called Bardstown. His name is Richard. Richard's been my sponsor for 8 years. Prior to that, I think it was 27 years. I had another great Kentucky gentleman to guide me, walk with me, accompany me, help me through. His name was Fabian. The day Fabe passed to the big meeting, I asked Richard to be my sponsor so that I wouldn't go one single day without that accountability, without that connection, without that conversation that has been so important, that you have instilled in me is life-giving and so necessary for the journey. Indeed, the 12 and 12, we know that when we turn to God, all will be well with us. There's not a lot that I know for sure anymore, and I love that actually, but that all will be well, turning to God, seeking Him, asking Him, desiring Him with my whole body, mind, soul, and spirit. Yes, I'm all in for this. And tell you a funny story that a friend of mine told me this morning when he was here visiting. Apparently, someone asked the incomparable Mother Teresa herself, "Do you pray?" Imagine. She said yes. "Oh, really?" "Well, what do you pray for?" the person asked. And herself replied, humbly, I'm sure, I don't ask for anything, actually. Mostly, I just listen. "So what do you hear?" the person asked her. And she said, I hear the voice of God. "Okay, what does he say?" And Mother Teresa said, "Well, actually, he doesn't say much either. He mostly listens." And some beautiful circular mystery there that intrigues me very much and sounds very familiar, I'll tell you. It's great. It's great. Friends, I am speaking to you from the music room at the Abbey of Gethsemane here, site of many, like to say, bootleg A&A meetings not approved by the New York office. Mildred's been here to the music room. And I have been a Trappist monk at the Abbey of Gethsemane, the oldest monastery in America, for the past 52 years. Well, you can tell by looking at him, he's been somewhere for a while and doing something, and that's what I'm about. So very thankful for that, and for the chance to be God's guy for today. I tell you, it's the darndest thing. I wake up empty every morning. It's as if yesterday's terrific sober miracle, bursting with opportunities and lights and chances to serve, as if that all went away. And I wake up ready to begin again, especially by calling the Spirit home. Funny, my sense of the mystery is that the Spirit has a way of wandering off as the day ends, and the hand of God kind of clears the palate for this old sober boy in any event, and asks me to start again with the desire, with the joy, with the gratitude, with the wonder of being a sober guy on duty today, and delivered and rescued and in the lifeboat of Alcoholics Anonymous. Friends, I am not that certain about anything too much anymore, so I am like a bumbling amateur fiddling around on your average 24. I am convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that for today, of myself, I am nothing without God. I am lost. I am a disaster area. I am just an empty cipher. The bestest, greatest good news that this old boy could ever possibly shout is that what it took and all that it took to get me here to the Fellowship of the Spirit is the royal road that God had planned for me, and undoubtedly for all of us, the royal road to spiritual experience, to God consciousness, to that assurance that the Creator has entered our hearts and lives in a way that is indeed miraculous. It even seems like an understatement when I think what might have been at any point along the way. I know God is taking care and showering his grace on me. I need to pick up the kit. That's a little mantra that I enjoy very much from page 25 of our book. And when I do, the lights come on, the purpose, the direction, the identity, everything just begins to unfold in ways that are God's to know and mine to enter in upon and embrace. My step into the sunshine, as Bill Wilson called it, and again, a wonderful understatement, I think. So a big book refrain that means more and more to me every day, dear friends. We ask God, as simple and unassuming as that is, for me, that is the power tool par excellence, so to speak. When I speak with fellow kingdom seekers who have children, they tell me, if that little guy, my son, asks for a ride over to his friend's house, no matter what I'm doing, I drop everything and I attend to the request of my son. And I can't help thinking how much more for the infinite Father of mercies and of glories and of lights, the Creator, would respond with all his unspeakable fervor and love for this poor soul asking anything. So the book, of course, speaks of it any number of times. We ask for freedom from self-will. We ask for the right thought or action. Great prayer. We ask for inspiration. I sure do, and I need it a lot. Otherwise, I'm just wandering around and ready for the next disaster story. I ask God for an intuitive thought and decision. Ask him to help show me the way of tolerance, patience, pity, and that I would cheerfully grant a sick friend. And so on and so on. I ask God for everything. I ask God for help coming on this meeting. I shouldn't be allowed to leave my room without adult supervision, let alone come before you great 12-step friends. And so that's what I do to get started. And it moves me. The prayer, that simple prayer alone moves me from lostness and chaos and darkness to what? To that most elemental and buoyant and gifted word that I know of in recovery, connection, a connection to a widened, expansive realm of the spirit, to a playing field that is blazing with light, with God's guidance, with the chance for this soul guide to be of maximum service, to be out of self. And not that I'm ever cured of alcoholism, so keenly aware of that. And I ask God to spare me ever going back to that the way forward is my greatest desire. And so I keep a keen awareness of the powerlessness of step one, so that I have an equally keen awareness to claim the power that will carry out this conversation, that will continue this conversation with the God who loves me, who has rescued me, who has renewed me on a daily basis so many times. And obviously, every day, every moment, sober and all of my life's journey. Like I say, not too sure about too much, but I do believe, friends, I believe in the Almighty, in the work of his Son, in the gift of his Spirit to this poor servant here in Kentucky. And I have this steady, quiet sense that my desire for improved conscious contact, or as we say in the trade, ICC, is more God's desire than mine. It's his will for me that I keep coming back to the source, to my beginning, so to speak, waking up empty, come back to the wellspring, to my Heavenly Father, to that foundation, to that cornerstone, to the engine, to the launch pad, to the light, to the oxygen. Wasn't it Bill Wilson who described prayer as light, air, and food? They are that and more than that for me. Bill, of course, said it so well. My prayer is quiet and poor, and yet somehow the best expression, the truest expression of who I am today and what I am. God's precious kid, set free for service this one day in sobriety. It's an invitation that I just can't resist. I have to enter into this. I get to enter. I can't wait to enter and can't wait to get out of bed in the morning and be God's guy on duty. So I'm out of power. I know that I'm poor and fragmented and just making it. I have to claim the power. The miracle of the daily reprieve is that that's exactly what seems to happen. My best efforts to the contrary, notwithstanding sometimes. A monumental reassurance from the hand of God to this old boy every day that my prayers are answered. It's like the big elephant in the middle of my office here that assures me, nudges me, encourages me, come on, ask me. Funny, an old monk told me long ago, we were talking, he said, ask God, but then get ready because he's going to send a flood. I never forgot that. And I know his name was Father James. I know he was sharing that experience with me, passing it on to the next generation. So God's will for me, yes. It is obviously something that's all about sobriety, rich, generous, loving, merciful. Sobriety is the promise, the baseline, the gas, get going, old guy. And so it is when I am conscious of the power of the presence, I claim that power almost intuitively anymore. It's like breathing for me, breathing in with thanks and praise and asking God the next right step. Please, the next opportunity to serve, to be loving, to be light, to be encouragement in every interaction, at every opportunity. Funny, I was talking to a friend the other day about this AA expression, sticking with the winners, and I'm not here to debate that or to question any of it, but it seems to me that I don't want to be drawing any distinctions among our fellow travelers. I want to be creating the unity. I want to be pledging the love and the light and encouragement to everyone I possibly can. So it is then when I'm conscious of the presence, going to center, claiming the power, going down deep, page 55. I love that, page 55, and finding the presence. When I find the presence, I'm finding someone there, mysterious, totally wonderful, who is for me, who is more for me than I ever could be for myself. who is with me, who enlightens me, who holds me, who directs me, who shows me, who cares for me. And I get to return all of this if I am alert and plugged in and improving conscious contact. It's a sense of abundance and opportunity and urgency, even because of the now, right now, to live sober, to be in the light and in the power. I love this, that I can't quantify or describe it with any precision. I just dread questions about this, actually. But for me, it's all in the believing, simple, basic, and true, that I'm just a needy child connecting with a loving parent. All I need to do, so to speak, is to click the on switch, and it is on. It is on with a joy. I have this funny idea, friends, no doubt derived from yourselves, that disturbances, even resentments, fears, are all gifts for me today. Why? Because bleep, 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 they are signals for me to dive down deep. Page 55, claim the power. I have a disturbance. Well, okay, there's that, but there's also the message to me that I need to renew conscious contact. I need to claim the power. I need to reconnect. I need to go down deeper. And so these are gifts, signals, reclaim, reconnect, pick up the kit, and you'll be back on message again. For me, ICC and those simple prayers, that listening, brings me into a joyous communion with the vital will of God, my Father. It asks me, invites me, energizes me to change, to do this differently, to, as we say in New York, forget about the old self and become a transformation, a whole new person in thought and attitude, as our book says. I think that's 143. I have to be made new, and pick up the kit for that to happen. For me, asking God, improving conscious contact, calling on the power is an act of, let's call it opposition or even resistance to the hopelessness, terror, bewilderment, frustration, despair, negativity that could so easily be my default settings. And well, yeah, that's probably my truth, actually. I have all this desire, of course, never to stay there, but to move into the light, into the love, into the mercy while I have this one day sober. To claim the power is to claim the love, what little understanding I have of it. To claim the love is to have a mission, to remember that I'm a sober guy on duty, to live from the spirit center with a depth and a gravity so that I have that consciousness, I have that direction. It's all so beautiful and irresistible. On my own, of course, we're talking about lost, directionless, ego-inflated, self-will run riot. It's obvious. For me, though, friends, just a word, God, please, praise, thank you, topples all of that egoism, all of that blocked up channel and direction. It opens the gates, takes down the walls, lets the spirit come in. For me, every prayer bespeaks a spiritual awakening. Snap out of it. Luke, come on. You're suffering from a disease which only spiritual experience will conquer, and you have this golden opportunity to open up to it. Bro, move it. Come on. That clock is ticking, and you have a mission. It just lights my life up every blessed day. The key of the day my prayer, renewing steps 1, 2, and 3, as if, I'm telling you, friends, it's as if I'd never, ever heard them. Electrifying, brand new every single day for me, and gives me a sense of freshness, mobility, gratitude, big gifts every single day. And look out, world, because he's charging down the hallway, ready to show God that I'm connected with the miracle of this day's one reprieve from active alcoholism and eager to show it. I want to enter into this one day enthusiastically, that's to say, in God, as his spearhead, as his instrument, as his guide. Prayer puts more soul energy into my days, into every encounter, that energy, that light, the click, the snap, the presence, the light. More conscious contact, more power. Doesn't take an Einstein to figure that out. I want to perfect and enlarge my spiritual life through work and self-sacrifice, as the big book encourages me to do, so that I can build up that community of spirit with every interaction. And so, not that I'm, how should we say, collecting any great spiritual experience. That's not my experience as much as being ready and eager and poor. But when I meet my God, I'm 75 years old now, so I'm in the fourth quarter. When I meet God, come face to face with my Maker, it's going to be all about thanks and gratitude, and my desire, however fleeting and flickering and feeble, to live as a sober man in the presence, in the power, connected and joyous and free. So in meditation, friends, again, as simple as just breathing in the love, breathing out the fear, getting into action. Rinse and repeat. Breathe in the love, breathe out the fear. Direct my thinking. Thy will be done. How can I best serve? Thanks and praise. I'm no longer running the show. Help me. Thank you. Praise you. And one that I learned from a cousin of mine, it's I can't say it the way she does, but yes. Yes. My prayer then, friends, and I think I'm wrapping here, is to find the Spirit's center and live from that center in gravity and presence and awareness, so that I can be focused on the work of God and not disturbed, distracted by life on the edges, as I call it, by outside sources, by anything but the work of God today. Disturbance, a litmus test, a gift, an indicator of the quality of my conscious contact, and a prompt to improve, to reconnect, to light it up again, so to speak. I have time for prayer. Of course, I live in a monastery, it doesn't hurt. But it seems to me that if I'm not keeping conscious contact above the horizon as a real piece of business every blessed day, I'm going to be having a lot of time for trouble and who knows what else. I kneel before God so that I can stand up to anything today. I ask him, I praise him, I believe him. And I read somewhere, I don't know, this might even, I forget, but the fruit of prayer is faith. The fruit of faith is love. The fruit of love is service. The fruit of service, especially for sober people like you and like me, is the joy of living. I send the love and the joy to each and every one of you beautiful fellow of the Spirit, from the heart of Kentucky, from my heart. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share tonight.
There we go. Good evening. My name is Marilyn. I am an alcoholic. And Brother Luke, I just want to thank you. I was so excited when I saw you tonight because you so much inspire me. I still listen to your recording from the last time you were here. That's where I got that ICC. And I love the way you said, we ask God. And when I'm feeling down a little bit, you know, I throw on your tape and I hear your voice and the joy that you bring to me. I just want to let you know you're very special to me. Very, very special to me. I want to ask this one quick question, because I know you live there in the monastery and you're praying throughout the day, your Psalms and all the things that you've shared with us before. But do you ever get that point where you just kind of maybe feel like it's repetitious, like maybe you're checking? Because sometimes I'm starting to feel, you know, I pray throughout the day and I ask God, you know, I try to do the principles of this program, but then sometimes I feel like I'm just checking the box. Like I don't have that, you know, some days I don't have that great enthusiasm and joy that I once did. And I just wonder if that ever happens to you in the monastery there. I just love you. Thank you.
Love you back, Marilyn. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Oh, indeed, robot mode, and that comes too easily to keep it fresh and exciting and alive and present. Absolutely. It's getting easier, but I think God understands that there's just a point of, how shall we say, mouthing the words. And, you know, we're in the choir here 7 times a day and have been doing that for 176 years. And that's such a great example of the very thing. Go on in and maybe something will come alive, and some of it feels, how shall we say, just mailed in, and just, yeah, absolutely understood. The robot, yeah, guilty. It's, you're wonderful.
Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Marilyn. Come on in, John T.
Thank you, John, and thank you, everybody, for doing service for this wonderful meeting. My name's John, and I'm an alcoholic. And brother Luke, I was so moved by your share, and for a number of reasons. But the last 5th step I did right before the pandemic was with a Trappist monk. I'm from Dubuque, Iowa. There's New Mellery Abbey in Piasta. You're familiar with that. At any rate, I want to tell you thank you for your beautiful share. And the question would be, how, if you do, how do you separate your passion for Alcoholics Anonymous and the anonymity, but your passion with your work at the Abbey? Or do you keep it separate? I mean, it is all God. So I just wanted to thank you so much.
Thanks, John. So good to see you, and the connection with our brothers in Piasta. Absolutely. Good question about, Grace of God and a number of 24s. I feel like the 2 tracks, church and recovery, are pretty well intertwined, interwoven anymore. The word is out on the drunk monk around here, and there's not much I can do about it. It's certainly God's business. I don't broadcast, but it's no secret either. And yes, truly, there just is a point, a blend, a oneness about it anymore. I do one as much as the other, and I'm just eager and thrilled to pieces. I never could have dreamed this business up, and or wouldn't have signed up for it either. God knows, but here to say wouldn't have missed it for anything. Thanks.
Come on in, Andrew.
Good evening, beautiful souls, all alcoholic Andrew from Ontario. Thank you, FOTS team. Always special to be here. And Brother Luke, and I think this is the second time I've heard you on a step 11. The biggest thing I've heard, and I hear a lot in this ICC, is the thankfulness for the miracle of just simply life and sanity. And then, oh my gosh, I'm also given that ability to finally love others. My question for you, when did you first realize that it was possible to have conscious contact? Because you spoke quite a bit about what I believe to be God consciousness, and that has saved me my thinking over and over again, even without asking. Truly a gift, a miracle.
Thank you, Andrew. So good to see you again. My ancestors are all Irish, and we like to joke around that we ain't Irish for nothing. I'm here to report I've had a God consciousness and a sense of the calling from before kindergarten. And I've been grasped my whole life long for the mission, for the work. This is why the wonder how God morphed it and changed it and refocused it in ways that I never dreamed of. But my heart's yearning has been vivid, and my sense of belonging to God from maybe the age of 3. And so always growing and renewing, of course, and beautiful. But I'm here to report with a sense of wonder that that's the story of my whole life, Andrew. Thank you.
Come on in, either Carol, whoever's in that window.
Hi, I'm Carol's other half. My name is Bob. I'm an alcoholic. Father Luke, that was amazing. That was amazing. I've heard you once before, and what I remember is page 55. I use that, when I'm talking to sponsees and stuff, so they'll remember page 55. My question for today is, I was just in prayer and meditation probably yesterday, and so faith, you spoke a lot about faith, and I've got faith. I totally believe, I'm connected to this power, and that I'm connected to life and to plants and to everything. And yes, that gives me some comfort, but do I trust, that, and is faith the same thing as trust? It feels like they're a little bit different. Do I trust because just completely surrendering my self-will, sometimes still, even after all the times it's worked in my life, there's still hesitancy. So I guess my question is how to develop or how to nurture or cultivate that trust, so I can let go completely. That's it.
Thanks, Bob. All in for living the questions and the mysteries, the trust, growing, becoming, fading, flickering. I don't strive for any absolute sense or complete sense. To me, it's always a renewed gift and excitement, a rediscovery. And I believe God, I wouldn't say teases us that way, but somehow keeps us attentive that it's not a finished picture, that the evolution is very much in flow, and the picture is far from complete. So that there's the good news, still on the hook, so to speak, and loving that, the question and the mystery, and frankly, just making it without overthinking, but just the task at hand. And then again, we ask God for a deeper trust. We ask God to know him better. And look out, he sends a flood. Yeah, but the questions. Thanks for sharing that, Bob.
Mildred,
Mildred!
Thank you. Brother Luke, this is wonderful. I was so pleased when Ellie told me you were speaking. I felt that the half hour or so that you talked, it was like a meditation to me. You could have gone on a long time. I would have been very happy, not just because it's you, but of course, because it is you. I love you dearly. I wonder, are you still doing the organ?
Yes, thank you, Mildred. A great expression of sobriety. I am the choir master and
Yes,
get to, I wouldn't say lead praises as much as encourage praises and be part of them.
right. And your life there, I've seen it, experienced it. It is exactly as you have described it. It's just absolutely wonderful. A friend and I are planning to come and visit you and spend some time with you shortly, okay?
Would be thrilled to pieces. There's just one condition.
What?
Be any time. Otherwise, forget about it.
God
It's the one that Mildred and I had lunch together in Toronto in 2005. And I'll
It was
never
that
forget.
long ago.
It was. Can you believe that?
And then I think it's 4 years ago, I brought some people there to the monastery who were suffering. And it was an absolutely beautiful experience to be there. So I look forward to being with you and being at the monastery again. And thank you so much for your beautiful share tonight.
Thank you, Mildred. Love you, dear friend. Love you.
Likewise.
Regina, thank you, Mildred. Regina.
Hi, everybody. Regina, great to be here tonight. Lovely to hear you, Brother Luke. You're very clear in your message about your sense of belonging and longing for God. And I wonder, do you experience God's longing for you? And how do you experience that if you do?
Oh, nice. Gee, that's well worth pondering. I feel the pull. I feel the magnetic mystery anymore. In fact, more and more, that has to be the loving hand of my Father. And yes, the care. Thank you. The longing of God for us. A wonderful reflection and point to bring to meditation. Thank you. I believe he's eager to see all of us, and it's going to be beautiful. Thank you for asking, Regina. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina. Beautiful question. Marissa.
Hi, everyone. Marissa May, alcoholic. Thank you so much, Brother Luke, for being with us here tonight and sharing. Mildred mentioned bringing people who are struggling. And I wonder, when you are met with fellow alcoholics who are struggling with God consciousness or even the belief of a higher power, or maybe are new and are just entering kind of into this relationship, what do you use from our literature, or what do you point them to when you're starting that conversation?
Oh, great question. Thank you, Marissa. I'm very respectful of newcomers and recall when I first came around the rooms that no one rushed me or tried to indoctrinate me to speed it up or to make something happen, but rather a welcome, an encouragement, a promise that it's so worthwhile to give yourself to this simple program. In fact, I'll tell you a quick funny story. A dear friend, I spoke with her today, who was here before I was trying to make some awkward small talk before a meeting, and I said to her, I don't have time for this. And she is beautiful, and she hit that pause button, I think, on page 87, and batted those baby blues, and sweet as could be, said to me, well, bet you always had time for drinking. And I learned that, and never forgot that it's not my place to try to make God happen for anyone, or to try to convince, rebuke, exhort, nudge, manipulate, anything like that with a newcomer. I hopefully, how should we say, we model recovery and beam the love and the light, shake that hand warmly with a presence and a care, and then see what happens. Keep that newcomer in my prayers, and but I don't. I'm really respectful of the start and what God would have for anybody. Appreciate your asking. Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, come on in, Ralph.
Ralph.
Brother Luke, thank you so much, sir, for not only your verbal presence, but your deportment. Talk about shouting that you're a man with an answer. Thank you. I got one serious request for you. When last we saw her, Mildred has a checkered history in going up in places like yours. So when she comes to visit you in the monastery, we're going to need assurance from you that you are going to keep her under close supervision, because we cannot afford to lose her again. When last we checked on her in the convent, it didn't go so well. So Luke, we need assurances from you that you'll return her to us as you received her.
I'll try to remember, Ralph. Mildred. Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
That was good.
That
Thank
was
you.
really good.
Mildred got a kick out of that one too. Thank you everyone for the Q&A, and I'll now turn it over to Michelle.
Thank you, Teresa. Thanks for great questions tonight, everyone.